All right, so Parashat Shavua, Parashat Beshalach. Try to speak a little faster. I have a lot to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I'm trying to offer you a different perspective on the parasha. What we're going to say there. So Parashat Shavua really is divided into exactly 2 parts in the same size, which is 58 parts, 58 psukim in each part. Exactly 58. The first part talks about the miracle of the splitting the sea and the reaction of the people on it. And this is, by the way, the only time in the Torah that Bnei Yisrael are specifically being described as people of emunah, ba'alei emunah, and they believe in God and they believe in Moshe. Aminu b'Hashem Moshe Abdo. And the second one really talks about the complaints of Am Yisrael and the lack of emunah. So that experience that they had in the place of, we call Mara, and there are today 2 lakes that they call it Agam Hamara Gadol ve'Agam Hamara Katan, the small bitter lake and the big bitter lake in the Sinai Peninsula, southern of the Suez Canal. Not necessarily that's really the place. I find more symbolism in this parasha that would have to really to do with us, to teach us, then I'm more interested in that than actually specific geographical locations. So that experience that they had in Mara is quite enigmatic and it's quite unexplained, and the Torah does not refer to Am Yisrael based on this experience, any other chet or any avera that they did before that experience. And we also don't know and have no idea, maybe, what is the actual wood or tree, because it refers to as etz, in which Moshe Rabbeinu threw into the water, and what exactly God told Moshe Rabbeinu to do. So, and also, it's the first time that Am Yisrael actually in the history of Am Yisrael that face real evil. We will be able to understand that. We'll be able to understand a lot of things that are happening to us now, because everything is a pattern. So we need to pay attention. In this case, that we have Amalek, it really is the one who symbolizes or carries the torch of evil. But if you look at this chronologically speaking, the experience of Mara came before the first interaction of Am Yisrael with Amalek. Okay, later on they met Amalek, and that was in a place called Refidim, and then that experience is referred to as a result of the Chet. And the Chet was a doubt in the existence, if there is a God, or whether God is actual one. If we look at the oppression that Am Yisrael had in Mitzrayim, if you look at this way, you see that the way the Egyptians tortured and enslaved the Jews was really a matter of selfishness. I mean, their own personal, needs and their own personal reasons for the benefit of Paro and to the benefit of Egypt themselves, and not as a result of pure evil on their part. It's something that we find very much similar to the evilness that they had with the Nazis in Germany, and I would dare to say, and I don't really care what anybody says, with the evil that we'd find today with the people that call themselves Palestinians or Arabs, or mainly Palestinians, which is the biggest lie of the 20th and 21st century out there. So that the pure evilness for no reason whatsoever. In this phenomenon of such evil, Am Yisrael as a collective is being faced with the first time. There's never such evil that they came across, and that was a part of their initiation as people, as a nation. Hopefully that supposed to really shape and form their belief in Hashem and the belief in one God, which was not something that they were used to until that point. If it wasn't for that experience, with the understanding that there is such evil in the world, Bnei Israel might have been mistaken, and that there's maybe a possibility of duality in the world, that there is a good God and there's a bad God, and that, of course, was already solved in Marah in the very beginning by the incident that they had in Marah. Most people will talk today about, in this parasha, we'll talk about Yetziat Mitzrayim, the splitting of this. I want to do something a little different. So you should know that without, where's Eitan, by the way? Chatul hazeh. I told him he's going to.
I texted everyone in the group.
But they're in Arizona, and whatever they are. So we should know that without really, really paying too much attention to it, we're making what we call a peirud, a separation in the name of Hashem that is really in the name of Hashem to His name inside of us. Again, we're using God's name to really separate God inside of us. I mean, maybe it's not the best of all ways to put it, but I think you get what I'm saying. And it's quite bad. We should know that everything in the world has an inside and an outside. It has chitzoniyut and pnimiyut. It has external power to it and an internal power to it. And in our awareness especially, we see things in a very, and maybe sometimes only, an external way. We don't see the inside of things. Everything is external, everything is superficial, nothing is really internal. And becoming more and more the sign of the times. In terms of society, everything is external. It's not what you say, it's how you look, right? With the whole culture of celebrities and so on and so forth, everything is, of course, external. And, of course, there is, we have what is Hashem. Hashem is Bashamayim, Beme'al, is up in the heavens, and He surrounds us in all parts. And, of course, there is us, that we are here. And therefore, as a result of that understanding that God is there and we are here, it's it could be many times that I could decide and determine how much of Hashem is going to penetrate into me. Which, if you think about it, is quite ridiculous negotiation of how much Hashem will get into me and so on and so forth. In other words, until this point is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from this point on, it's me. And you see that we do this many times, for example, when we come to interact with the world. Until a certain point is Torah and Halakha and so on and so forth. From this point on is, what? Parnasah. Parnasah, okay, take this out, we can't do this, we can't do that, this, that, and the other thing. It becomes a problem, That's a very bad mahalach to do. It's a very bad practice to have. In other words, you are limiting God with your interaction in His world. And it should not and cannot be like that. There's no such thing. Remember, many times we were talking about the wheel and the spoke and so on and so forth, but your world is not revolving around God and His world and His Torah. Is revolving in a very flat way. Here and there. Until here, that's it. German outside, a Jew inside. We don't interact between the two, and that just doesn't work like that. And that what creates a peirud in Hashem. That creates a separation, chas v'shalom, in Hashem, and it creates a separation inside of us every time this emotion comes out, and that emotion, of course, becomes ga'ava. It's arrogance. When we have ga'ava and arrogance, we basically disconnect ourselves from the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu completely, and we create small separations. There's a song, Matanot Ktanot, Zes Pirudim Ktanim. small separations, small fragmentations, tears into our spiritual existence that really causes later on a tremendous damage to us and who we are. It doesn't make a difference really who we are, what our job is, how much have we so-called learned, even, and I even dare to say, how much we learn Torah and how frum we are, how long a beard is and how long a peot are, and if I wear cowboy boots or I wear, whatever I wear, it doesn't make a difference how many mitzvot do I keep, as long as I'm holding to this reality of externalism. It makes no difference. It makes no difference. And it's a mistake that we make all the time. The chitzoniyut, externalism kills us. It's horrible. And as long as we are in the process of tikkun, Hashem is not shalem, it's not complete. We need to fix this all the time. L'shem yichud, right? When we do a mitzvah, l'shem yichud. The mitzvah comes to do so, l'shem yichud. We're coming to unite things together. And this is what we have to do. Leyached yichudim, to make yichud, to put things together, to make connections, to let the emunah shlema, the complete emunah, the complete belief surround us. Only then, by the way, we could erase the Amalek inside of us. Because Amalek is the source of Peirud. And Sefer Ma'or Hashem says, and I'm quoting, he says, "Dehine klipot Amalek," the husk of Amalek was to uproot Am Yisrael ve'emunah shlema in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, u'mebalbel machshavotam, confuses their thoughts, be'emunot ra'ot chas v'shalom. It causes confusion and it shakes your belief in God, where you're complete, and all of a sudden, I have doubts and I have questions, and maybe this and maybe that, and so on and so forth. That's the klipa of Amalek around you. And he says, "Keshebau Yisrael le'ezeh safek ba'emunah," when Am Yisrael comes to somewhat of a doubt in the belief, azai ba'amalek lenotek otam yoter v'yoter. When you have a doubt, when it's not clear, all of a sudden this klipa comes in and he puts like a plaque around you and separates you even further. And you can't breach that. And until it completely separates from the emunah of Hashem, completely. וזה ידוע, and we know שכוחו של משה רבנו להכניס בלב ישראל אמונת אלוקי עולם ברוך הוא ברוך שמו. And we know that the power of Moshe Rabbeinu is really put the complete emunah in Am Yisrael inside of us. שהיה משתדל בכל כוחו להכניס בלב ישראל אמונת אלוקי עולם. He tried whatever he can to put the emunah of Am Yisrael inside. וזהו, and that's what it is, ויהיו ידיו אמונה עד בוא השם. ויהיו ידיו אמונה עד בוא השמש. When he held his hand up, Yadav Emunah is really his hands of belief until Bo Hashemesh, until the light will shine. So take that as not as a description of the battle, but more of a metaphor of how much Moshe Rabbeinu tried to put the Emunah in Am Yisrael until the light will come out and will walk out from darkness into light. By the way, this shiur should be Leilui Nishmat Bila Bat Belor, and to refuah shlema kol cholei Israel ba'asher hem. And also, what did you say? What do you want to say? The email? Our email is rabbigoldin@gmail.com, and the Yeshiva website is yeshiva.etzion.com, and we have a wonderful PayPal account, Real Magic, that helps us to buy books, that helps us break the klipot even further. Now, it says that En Hashem Shalem ve'kis'o Shalem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not complete, and his seat is complete until Kol HaBirurim, until all the assortment with separation will separate between Kodesh and Chol, Klipa, and so on and so forth. ויחזיקו ישראל באמונה שלמה, and they would hold the complete אמונה בהשם יתברך, ויהיה השם אחד ושמו אחד. And you should look at the Ma'or Hashemesh Parashat Beshalach. We have to understand that our internal movement moves all the time. and travels all the time on this path, on this highway, that between emunah shlema that comes in the koach, from the koach of Moshe Rabbeinu, to the great doubt that comes from the koach of Amalek, that really so-called cools the fire of emunah inside of us, and separates each one of us from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why each and every one of us should be in complete awareness on his situation, or where he's holding in any given moment. Determine and examine every action that you do, whether this is going to bring me closer to Hashem or further from Hashem. There's no such thing as staying where I am. Further, closer. Further, closer. Examine everything you do. That's a very big inyan in Avodat Hashem, to examine, to determine all the time where your situation is. Where are you holding? Where are you holding? What is that you're doing? Now, we know that what goes through the flow of the two parts of what we say, and we have is Shirat Hayam, the song that they sang, the praises that they're saying, and what goes in between, connects the two parts, is the water. Of course, is the ocean and the water. The first water that they had, we have two aspects of water, right? We have the water of Yam Suf that they went in, and then we have the whole problem with the water that they didn't have water. So the first water were a tremendous obstacle, a great power. However, in a miraculous way, they were able to overcome. The ocean, or the sea split. Bnei Yisrael alchu b'charava b'toch hayam. B'charava really means that even the dirt, charava means dirt that's dry. Charev means dry. They didn't even go in mud. They went into, it was like, I don't know, so you can tell me whatever you want. You can tell me that there was a volcano in Greece that they caused some kind of a lunar eclipse and it split, whatever. However, how did the soil get so dry so they can walk? It was charava, means dry. So, Rabotai, tafsiku, let's stop this. And by the way, that search and the need to search and to find scientific proofs to or explanation to what exactly happened, that comes from the koach of Amalek, not the koach of Torah Tmima and the Torah. That's what happened. And the same thing if you ask me, how old is the world? I'll tell you 5,000 whatever something years. Loch patli, if it's 14 billion, for me the emunah tells me that that's how the whole world is. The emunah shlema. Lo manyen oti. Carbon 14 and a half. Lo manyen oti. I don't care about those things. I don't care about it. That comes from the koch of Amalek. When somebody comes and so on and so forth. That's how you should reject those things. Now, in the second part, there is lack of water in the desert, and that's where the people start to complaining. That almost creates a rebellion against Moshe Rabbeinu, an uprising, and the Am Yisrael challenges against Moshe, but Moshe is able to overcome this by his emunah in Elokim, to continue this journey to Mount Sinai in order to experience that revelation of God on the mountain, the receiving the Torah, and the journey to the promised land, aka the land of Israel, not the land of Dawn Palestine, because there's no such thing, it's a lie. I'm very concerned, and hereby I call upon all those who care about the fate of Israel and the fate of the Jewish people, that from now they should oppose and protest against the so-called peace plan of El Presidente, Mr. Donald Trump, that he has in his crooked mind to put back and to give Eastern Jerusalem and the West Bank to the Arabs and those idiot Israelis who would agree to that. It's going to be a cry for generations that will, I don't know if we'll be able to ever overcome that. And I'm going to tell you the following. I don't care what you do or what you say. But if the state of Israel gives an inch of Jerusalem, the state of Israel lost its right to exist. And let's continue now with when we're talking about the Parashat. So therefore you got to do something about it. All of you got to do something about it. whether it's petition, get together. I don't care if you get together with the devil for that. But that has to stop. Now, of course it is already, everybody knows that you cannot, there's no life without water. But there's also, the rabbis always use the symbol of water as the symbol of Torah. Torah is always measured as water. The Torah is many times it calls this Maim Chaim, Mekor Maim Chaim, the source of fresh water, living water, that without them there's no life for Am Yisrael. And that's, by the way, what happens when Am Yisrael abandoned his Torah. That's what happened. There's no Chaim to it. However, in order for this water to become a source of life, it needs to flow into the land, to give nourishment to the land. And it has to be constant. You need also humbleness. You need to be merciful in order to overcome all those obstacles of lack of emunah and lack of emunah in God. When we'll be able to overcome this, maybe we'll soften our hearts. This is also soften our hearts to believe in Hashem a little bit further. The pasuk tells us the following: "Vayisam Moshe et Yisrael mi Yam-Suf vayitzu al-midbar shuv vayilchu 3 yamim במדבר ולא מצאו מים ויבואו מרתה ולא יכלו לשתות מים ממרה כי מרים הם על כן קרא שמה מרה וילונו העם אל משה לאמור מה נשתה," and so on and so forth. "ויצעק אל השם ויורהו השם עץ," and he showed him a tree. ויורהו, we'll see what's יורהו עץ. וישלח אל המים וימתקו המים שם שם לו חוק ומשפט ושם ניסהו. ויאמר אם שמוע תשמע לקול השם אלוקיך וישר בעיניו תעשה והאזנת למצוותיו ושמרת את כל חוקיו כל המחלה אשר שמתי במצרים לא אשים עליך כי אני השם רופאך. Unbelievable statement or chain of events, just for Arvit. So this is in Perek Tedvav, by the way. So from the need of Moshe to bring the people to Yam-Suf, Baal Akedah, there's a sefer, it's called Baal Akedah. Anybody knows his name? Is Rabbi Yitzchak Arama. He died in around 1494. And the Sefer Akedat Yitzchak is a very interesting Sefer. It's built from 105 different drashot on Parashot HaShavua, which every drasha starts in a pasuk from the parasha, and there is attached to it is a midrash from the Zohar that it connects in a philosophical way to the parasha, and so on and so forth. He was very big Rambanist. He held a lot for the Rambam. He was very much against the Mefarshei, Moreh Nevuchim, like Ralbag, and so on. Very interesting sefer. Unfortunately, sometimes you don't really find those books anymore. They kind of exist in some knowledge, but we find a lot of books about nothing today. Some of those books should be more available for the people. I would encourage you, if you can get them, to actually get one and read it. It's a very, very chashuv sefer, Rabbi Yitzchak Arama. I'm sorry? Sfaradi, yes, he lived near Barcelona. He was from Catalonia. Where he's today. Again, he was niftar 1494. So amazing. Anyway, so he says that the separation of Am Yisrael from the culture of Mitzrayim was even bigger than what we just a regular separation. Because Am Yisrael needed to deal not only with the difficulty of separation, but also in the transformation from the laws of Egypt to the laws of Hashem. And the laws of Hashem, there are chukim, mishpatim, tzadikim, and that's I'm quoting, hafachim elev umativim otam. In the Torah is just the complete opposite of the laws of the Torah, the complete opposite of the laws of Egypt. And by the way, the Torah despises the laws of Egypt and says it's absolutely repulsing. And according to Chukei, and we should look, by the way, in Sefer Vayikra, in Perek Yud Gimel and Pasuk Gimel, Perek Yud Chet, Pasuk Gimel and on, about that. So the difficulty of Am Yisrael was really the separation from that culture and creating or moving to a complete opposite culture. And that event that happened in Marah was really come to teach Am Yisrael something very, very important in order to make that difficulty a little bit more bearable. And that is the taking something bitter and turning it into sweet. That ability to take something bitter and turn it into sweet will teach Am Yisrael, and I'm quoting, כי בהרגלם בתורה האלוהית הנקראת עץ חיים למחזיקים בה, by holding on and really holding on tightly to Torat Elokim, which is called Etz Chaim, a tree of life, for those who hold to it, only for those who hold to it. היה אפשר קרוב שהדבר היה להם מתחילה לחוק ודבר זר, יהיה מר למשפט נאות וישר ביניהם. Yes, in the beginning the Torah was something very bitter to them, very bad for them, but later on, if you hold on to it, that bitterness will turn into sweetness. And of course, you all know, I'm sure you all experience it yourself, that the sweetness of Torah is really overwhelming. It's really sweet. It's really sweet when you start learning and you fall in love with it. So, Baal Akedah says that the way in which a person should go in until the situation becomes stable, good stable, he says in Sha'ar Mem, he says, ואפשר שירמוז גם כן על אופי הדרכה והגעה על תיקונם. That's going to tell us also on how. שהורה להם עץ, he showed them a tree. Why? כי האדם עץ השדה. A man is like a tree in the field. In ספר דברים it says that. וחמור לא יבוקש ממנו פריו מתוקן כי אם אחר עבודה והעבודות הצריכות לו בעניין הניקוש והעידור והזמור וזולתם. You're not going to be able to get good fruit from the tree unless you will do the proper work that needs to be done on a tree. In other words, the regular maintenance that you have to do on a tree. Pull the weeds and prune it and so on and so forth. You think that if you have a fruit tree, you're just going to put it in the ground, it's going to put trees. You're wrong. A lot of the trees need constant pruning in order to rejuvenate new growth and so on and so forth. And otherwise the tree will die or it will grow without any fruit. It's fascinating how trees grow, but you need to trim it all the time. Hey, Nati Motek. So it says, ולזה שמח, and the smichut of the psukim, it says, ויאמר אם שמוע תשמע. At the beginning you have to listen. Right? So you have to be like a tree, but then it says, ואם שמוע תשמע. After you hear, there's the asiyah, and from the asiyah is going to come to a madrega that is going to keep the chukim, וזהו תכלית האמונה. By you listening and then doing, then you're going to keep the mitzvot and emunat Hashem, and that's the ultimate belief in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. וזה דרך כבוד לבוא בו כל עייף ויגיע בעומר שלו. To שם עליו המחלה המצרית, and this is the best way in which the Egyptian disease would not come upon you. It says קושי הלב לשמוע ולעשות את דבר השם. That hardening of the heart to actually listen to the words of God. And when the muscle of the heart gets hard, you have a heart attack and you die. And all the examples in terms of what we need for our life would also exist in the spiritual realms as well. So in order to take the bitter water and to turn it into sweets, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, he showed him a tree, and Baal Akedah sees with that a tremendous hint that the person is like the tree and so on and so forth. And it says, Vayomer im shamua tishma lekol Hashem Elokecha, and so on. And then Baal Akedah says 4 different shlavim, 4 different stages that it says in the pasuk, which is shmiya, hearing, asiyah, ha'azana, v'shmira. Listening, doing, then carefully listening, and then shmiya is hearing, then listening. Hearing, doing, listening, and keeping. Ha'azana v'shmiya is 2 different things. So that that experience that they had over there and with the tree is, as you can see, becomes very fundamental to Am Yisrael and gives us a different angle that we would never think that it's actually there. We think it's just an experience that Torah writes. And you should know that usually when there is a place with lack of water, right? And if you ask yourself where there is a place with lack of water, and the answer will be in a place that there is a stubborn refusal not to believe or not to count on a better future. In other words, and if we say that Mayim, Chaim, livelihood, when there is drought, there's no really hope for a better future because you are slowly dying. If you go to Africa and places where they have tremendous drought sometimes, they don't think about sending kids to college or getting a better job or creating a better society. They're dying there like flies. So when there is no Torah, which is Chaim, there's not really much hope for a better future. Because one will ask himself, what future? I'm going to die. What do I care? Ma akhpat li ma yeh? I don't care what's going to happen. Why should I invest in kids? Why should I have kids altogether? Forget about the future. Let me live now. Eat and drink because tomorrow we'll die. And the Torah tells us here something very, very, a very good lesson. And Torah says we always have to believe that there is hope, and we have to bring this hope about. To take fresh water out of rocks, to bring life out of something that is hard as a rock, out of cruelty, to bring a better world, to build a better future. That's what we should never give up. And that's what it says in Tehillim, V'kol karnei reshayim agadea teromemena karnot tzaddik. Tehillim, Ayin, Hey, Pasuk, Yud Aleph, to tell us that tzaddik is able to elevate himself, mitromem umitgadel, to elevate himself when the horns of the Reshaim are being cut, which is the Resh and Mem, right? The Resh and the Mem. And if you take the Resh and Mem together, you get the word better. Out of bitterness, and usually bitter people are not good people. Out of the bitterness, that's when the tzaddik comes and he actually elevates himself and he brings the good about. Now, what tree is that we are talking about? Now, of course, we know that Moshe took the tree and he put it into the water, then when the water become good. In other words, Moshe took the tree and he reestablished the bed. And what I'm telling you now is a pure Kabbalistic secret. So before I tell you a pure Kabbalistic secret, let me eat some sushi. Yeah. Then I have my hot and sour soup. Sushi is good. Now, how did he make the bitter water sweet? What was the tree? You want to know the secret? Anybody want to know? You want to know the secret? Good. A little Jackson in my pocket will make me look good. I'll tell you the secret. Okay.
Jackson.
Jackson
20.
Jackson 20? I don't forget 20. Who was it? Benjamin? Franklin? I don't know. I don't care. I don't look at the money. I don't really care. I don't see it. Who?
Humble Rav.
Yeah, humble. I don't care. I'll tell you this for free. The tree that we are talking about, Rabotai, is no other than, okay, never mind. It says in the Mechilta, it says that Chachamim tried to really know what kind of a tree, what was really this whole thing about the tree. And really based on the tree to really understand what was the whole experience of Mara all about. But they were all in agreement, pay attention, that the tree itself was a bitter tree. The tree was a bitter tree. According to Shita Chachamim, the purpose of this whole experience was really to show the koach of a Kadosh Baruch Hu to be able to turn bitter into sweet, and therefore if a person sticks to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, into his Torah, will also be able to take bitter into sweet. So, and the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that you take something bitter, right, and you put it into something bitter, and that becomes sweet, right? That's tremendous koach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, between the trees that were mentioned over there in the Machilta, is Arsa, that's exactly the point now. It says one of the trees that is mentioned there, it's called Etz HaChaim, the tree of life. And in Sefer HaBahir, in the Piskaot, Kuf Samech Aleph and Kuf Samech Gimel, it says in the beginning, Etz HaChaim was around the water, and that tree was sweetening the water. And the Satan is the one who removed it from there, and by removing Etz HaChaim from the water, it caused the water to become bitter, and the reason was to make the people thirsty. To make the people thirsty so they can complain, and then Hashem will be angry with them, and so on and so forth. So that experience that they had in Marah was of pure evilness. Because the Satan wanted HaKadosh Baruch Hu to whack the Jews. Pure evil. That really tried to remove the Jew from the tree of life in order to destroy the Jew. You want to kill the Jews, you want to destroy the Jews, you are not going to be able to put them in chimneys, you're not going to be able to burn them in fire. You can kill a lot of them, but you're not going to be able to destroy them. You want to destroy a Jew, there's only one way. Remove him from its Torah, remove him from the ways of Hashem. That is a fact. All the machlakot that we have there, disagreement with this and that, as long as it's within Torah, you see it's all good. You remove the Torah, you stay with the machloket, you have the perud, sama mavet. There's no collection of disagreements bigger than the Gemara. And for whatever reason, Chachamim always got along with each other. Because the Torah, it's what does it. Now, Rabbi Ezra ben Shlomo from Girona, in his article, Sod Etz Hadat, the secret of Etz Hadat, explained that the existence of evil in the world stems from Adam HaRishon, from the Chet, from the sin of Adam HaRishon. Adam HaRishon separated the bad from its source that was good. Ifrid hara mimekoro hatov. So when the bad was separated from the good, the evilness, the bad was able to exist by itself. And therefore those two trees, Etz HaChaim and Etz Hadat, which were in the garden, and they grew from the same root. Etz HaChaim and Etz Hadat grew from the same root. As long as they were united, Etz HaChaim had control over Etz Hadat. Came Adam HaRishon, what we say, kitzetz banetiot, right? He cut the trees. He separated between Etz HaChaim and Etz Hadat. You have it in Masechet Chagiga over there. And by doing so, he gave the bad side, the roa, an opportunity to really exist and express itself, and therefore to be in every possible place in the world as an individual and a separate force, as a self-entity, in other words, an entity by itself. And that it's an unbelievable concept. In other words, when the bad is confined by the good, it's not bad anymore. It's only bad when it's separated from its source. So the combination, of course, of the letters, what we say, that will create a Shamayim Va'aretz, it's all in there. Moshe Rabbeinu took the tree and he threw it into the water. by putting the tree back to its source, he was able to be metaken, the tikkun, the kilkul of the Satan. He sweetens, hemtik, et hamayim, and we know, hamtakat hadin, remember, we put water, hamtakat hadin, etz hachaim was bitter, as the Chachamim explained to us in the Machilta, and according to that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was able to sweeten bitter with bitter. In order to bring something good, to eliminate evil, we need to do one thing. We need to be able to take the Torah and hold on to it, and be united around the Torah. If we're going to be united because of, football teams or national Israeli pride, that's not going to happen. The only glue that glues Am Israel together is His Torah. That's the only glue. That we confine the bad. We put rules and limits to it, and therefore the bad ceases to exist. And not only it ceases to exist, the bad becomes good. You can eliminate the bad from the world completely, but you can put it under control to work for you. The chibur of Etz Hadat and Etz HaChaim. Etz Hadat will be all the knowledge that you have in the world, and Etz HaChaim will be the Torah Chaim, the Torah, Rabotai. Remember what I told you. You cannot or you should not explain the Torah according to science. You should explain science according to Torah. In other words, the Torah is the focal point of your life. You should look and examine everything. How is it being viewed by the eyes of the Torah? If the Torah views it as a good deed, you are going to succeed. If not, evil will come your way. And that is the experience of Mara. To try to bring sweetness into the world. As the Ashkenazim call it geschmack, sweetness. It's sweet. To bring the sweetness into life. Our lives are bitter now. Not because we don't make enough money. It's not because Obama was president. It's not because Trump is president. Our life is bitter because there's not enough unity and real unity of Torah in it. So, Rabotai, this is our job on everything we do. Now you might understand why a person should not, as the Torah says, Chachamim tells us, Le'olam lo ya'aseh adam b'Torah kardom lachpor ba. The Torah, you should never make a shovel to push your own agendas with. Do not use the Torah for your own benefit. Use the Torah, if something called tzameh la'mayim ilech. Anybody who's thirsty, bring it to the water. And mayim ki in Torah. And therefore we have to bring everybody to the Torah. Look at this, and that's the concept behind Daf Yomi. Daf Yomi, you have the Mishnah from Eretz Israel, you have the Gemara from Bavel, you have Rashi, you have Tosfot, you have the Rif, you have the Ran, all existing together in perfect harmony. There is a right and there is a left, and they're working together as harmony. And that's our job, to find unity within the Torah, to bring people to the Torah together, because we're all in that matter equal in the eyes of God. So, Rabotai, first of all, I wish everybody to have a sweet Shabbat and a sweet Tu B'Shvat. Yeah, Shabbat Shira, Tu B'Shvat. And we should put all this separation and separating elements behind us, and we should confine the bad with the good. V'tavo yavo goel Yisrael, and Yerushalayim is the eternal, united capital of Am Yisrael. Amen. Keni Ratzon. Amen.